I'm Ezrah Raya, and this is the Manila Times. Today, English is one of Philippines' official languages, and it continues to be an important part of local life and culture. English is the language of business, science, technology, government, education, and international communication, which makes it vital for us to learn the language. However, not everyone can speak it or write it fluently. One book aims to address this. English Plain and Simple. This book won the National Book Award from the Manila Critics Circle. It provides a systematic but easy to follow instructions in English writing so that anyone can communicate their thoughts and ideas clearly, simply, and confidently. Today we'll be talking to the author, veteran newspaper journalist Carlos Llorin Jr., or more popularly known by his pen name, Jose Carillo. Welcome to the Manila Times, sir. Tell us about
Hi.
your book, English Plain and Simple, a no-nonsense way to learn today's global language.
It's my first book, and it's a fruit of my columns in the Manila Times, which I have been writing since 2001, the year 2001. And it's the first book. It was followed by two more.
Sir, everyone in the Philippines, almost everyone, I mean, even the street children can at least understand and speak English. So, what was the problem that you saw? Because I know you saw a problem that made you write this book, English Plain and Simple. So, what did you see in how Filipinos write their English letters before?
Filipinos who speak or write in English, from my observations before, even now, they don't trust themselves, their English. They adopt the English of managers, lawyers. So they adopt jargon in their English. And you can see it in their application letters for jobs. And I discovered this one because when I put up a company, I advertised for editors, and I got 100 applicants. Most of them were English, and some were magna cum laude, summa cum laude. But and they were all students, not many of them, but they all wrote in the same jargon that it's really so disappointing and so embarrassing. So I decided, wow, this can go on. So I wrote the book. No, well, I didn't write the book initially. I because I was working with the Manila Times as a columnist. But eventually, I realized that it's not enough to write a column. So my columns became the what you call this the start of the English in Simple book.
So there were applicants to your company, and you saw their letters to you, and it was full of jargon. It was too wordy and almost too formal to the point that not that it wasn't easy to understand. So you created a book to address this. You know, it's not that
Yes,
Filipinos
yes.
don't know the language; they do know the language. It's
They
just
know the language, but they don't trust themselves to use the language. They use the language of people who they are not, like lawyers, magistrates, you know, professors who also don't know anything except academies or what you call, and then researchers who write and speak in researches, things like those. Not plain and simple English. Nobody wanted plain and simple English. From what I saw, even professors they didn't speak in plain and simple English.
so English must be a language that you can speak easily, and it's not a second language anymore. I mean, for some of us, it's their primary language, and also I know you authored two more books on this subject. So
Mm.
another book, which I think is my personal favorite, 10
Mhm.
Most Annoying English Grammar Errors
Wow.
by Jose Carillo as well. And I think there's this another book for those who wants to advance their English proficiency. It's Give Your English the Winning Edge by
Yep.
yours as well. So this time, excellent English is now within your reach. So these books, ano, it's very interesting how you came up with. So it came from your observation how Filipinos write their letters and type up their emails. So can you tell us what are the 10 most common or most annoying English grammar errors? A few
Well,
examples.
it's a grammar, really, it's a grammar error in particular, but it's in the tone of language, the voice, the diction, uh, the idiom. It's so strange. The English grammar that I see, even in government memos, no, even in academic papers, it's so strange, really. The word strange, I think, is the most appropriate word to describe our English.
So how would you describe the proper way of speaking English? How should everyone,
Well,
how should Filipinos speak English in
speak
your
English plainly and simply, the way you will talk to be understood by people who are listening to you, and you are not trying to impress them, you're trying to communicate with them. I think in short, learn to communicate with English, not impress with English. Show your mastery of words. No, no, no. It's just using the right language for your audience, target audience.
Speaking of audience, sir, who should read English plain and simple? Aside from the students, I think professionals will benefit a lot from the book.
Who should read it? If you ask me, I think and I believe that everybody should read it. Uh, Even the lawyers should read it because actually, at first glance, when I was going through the application letters for jobs to become editors, these are the sort of language that you should expect from these guys because they're supposed to be editing for the public, people to people who speak English. So it's a choice of words, choice of tone, choice of sentence construction, everything. Everything has to be, if I may say so, demolished and replaced with plain and simple English.
An English that is more appropriate for the 21st century. Now, this book was originally published 18 years ago, sir, no, in 2005. And
Yeah, yes, yes.
and this book is being distributed now in the
Mhm.
new and updated version. So, what's in the
Yeah.
new and updated version of English Plain and Simple?
I'm sorry. What?
What's in the new and updated version? Because this book is being republished now by the Manila Times Publishing Corporation.
Mhm.
So in major bookstores nationwide. So what's new in the new and updated version of the book?
Well, I have replaced several chapters of the book, updated them, keep them, you know, in keeping with the changing times. But essentially, the suggestion is for people to use plain and simple English, not not to brag about your uh, word power or whatever. No, just be able to communicate properly, to write properly, speak properly. Whether you use English or any other language, you have to be understood. But the problem is in the Philippines, the most venerated or copied English users are the lawyers, the corporate types, use corporates, no? Academics who use academies. But nobody wants to be identified as a person who wants you to speak plain and simple English, which is actually what's needed. Now, 10 years ago, there was already a movement in America and in Great Britain, plain and simple English movement is now going full scale. Even lawyers are now changing their legalese into plain and simple English. So this is going to continue. It may not be too fast, but it will, because the important thing is to be understood.
The important thing in speaking English is to be understood by
Understood.
whatever the language is.
Yes, yes. But if you use academies, you use the language of acad uh, the academ, mahihirapan talaga. You know, if you use the lawyers, like for instance, they will say in a document, uh, you say aforementioned, uh, or aforethought. Tough, really tough to understand.
So the goal is to be understood and to speak English in the 21st century. Thank you so much, author and veteran newspaper journalist Jose Carillo or Carlos Leorin Jr. The Manila Times Publishing Corporation is now distributing the new edition of the 500-page book, English Plain and Simple, a no-nonsense way to learn today's global language in major bookstores nationwide. Thank you again, Sergio.
You're most welcome.